Okay, I'm sorry about that, class. The camera I'm using only allows me to record for 10 minutes, so this is part two of your resume crash course, and I'm going to go over some of the best practices for completing a resume. The first one, as I mentioned, is adapting your resume to the job description. There should be a different resume for every job you apply for. The second one that's been a good practice lately is to summarize your qualifications on the very top of the resume, because remember, the top is what your audience is going to read first. And if you look at that job description and figure out three or four of the main qualifications they seem to be looking for, and you can speak to those three or four right at the very top, you're going to stand out because your audience is going to be like, oh, wow, they've really looked into my description and they've done the research that they need to know what we're looking for. And that's part of doing the research, is analyzing the job description and looking for the underlying values that are beneath that job description that you can speak to early on in your resume, the top of it. Crafting your words, thinking very carefully about every word that you use, remembering the importance of connotation, which is the association that people have with the words, and remembering that your words create realities. What you say about yourself creates the reality that your audience accepts about you, because they haven't met you yet. So whatever is there is your reality that you've created. So craft your words carefully. One way to do that is to think about experiences that don't necessarily seem relevant to the particular job you're applying for, and making those experiences relevant to that job by zooming in on the transferable skills that lies underneath that job. Another one, when it comes to crafting your words, is to use active verbs. People who are looking to hire you want to know that you're people of action, that you're proactive, that an action implies movement and work and a work ethic. So a lot of times you can find, if you just go into a search engine, and I think I actually have one on the D2L page, but you can go to a search engine, put active verbs for resumes on there, and then you'll figure out all these verbs that are out there that you can use to vary your resume and to make your resume sound more professional and to really be more vivid in describing the things that you've done within your particular job experiences. One of the best practices you can do is become a scholar on that company. Research is going to make you stand out so much more than anybody else. You should know who founded that company, why they founded it, what their corporate culture is, what their values are. What are the things that they're proud of, that company? What are the things that the company's not so proud of? What type of history does that company have? Did they start in a different field and kind of work their way to this field? How many people work there? How do those people feel about the job? How is the hierarchy laid out? Do you have a supervisor that you directly answer to, or are you going to be answering to like secondary supervisors? How's that laid out? What does this company do? What do they accomplish? What do they do well? What do they do poorly? All that stuff needs to be addressed, especially in the job interview. But even in the process of filling out a resume and application, you need to understand all about that company by researching that company. Okay, don't worry about the Richard Simmons thing. This is adapted from a lecture I've done in an in-person class, so we're not going to do a lot of these exercises. Actually, that'll be all we need to do today, I think. Hold on a second. Yeah.